This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Hey guys, Maven here. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Did you know that in the WWE, wrestlers have a series of hidden hand signals, helping them communicate silently while they're performing? So, what are these hand signals? Well, our friends at Tap Out Corner did an entire video on it. So, we're gonna watch it together. I'm gonna add a bit of context and do a little fact checking at the same time. Let's get into it.
How do wrestlers know when to tag in their partner? Well, there's actually a secret signal wrestlers give each other in order to time it just right. The wrestler on the ring apron will use their hand to communicate. If their palm is facing down, it tells the legal wrestler not to tag in. But when the palm faces up, that's a signal to make the tag.
You know, I did tag matches. I obviously ended my career in the WWE tagging with Simon Dean. And Simon was so instrumental on helping me just learn the business, learn how to be a tag team wrestler. He never once told me palm up or palm down when taking a tag. Thinking back, and remember guys, it's been over 20 years, but I remember him telling me when you're going for a tag, tuck your thumb, stick your hand out, and let the person tagging you hit your hand. And now why is this? If you remember, we did an entire video on it in the past where Hunter and I touched tips and the tag wasn't solid. Easy way to make sure that during a tag match, a tag is solid is to just, the person coming into the match, just to stick their hand out and let the person that's going to be diving for the tag or coming over and making the tag to have the action of coming down. You might be asking, why tuck the thumb? Last thing you want is to have someone, if you're going out, reaching out and have them come down and just a simple jamming of your thumb. I mean, it's just an easy way to break your thumb. Now, I'm not saying Mr. Corner's wrong. Hell, it might be the case now where they change things and they said, okay, it's an easy way, because it would be an easy signal. You know, palm down, don't tag, palm up, make the tag. That's just an easy visual thing that I could, you know, it could be.
In order to make matches more dramatic, wrestlers will kick out right before the count of 3. To time this right, the wrestler being pinned will have his or her eyes open so that he or she can watch the referee's count and time it just right. This also allows wrestlers to silently tell the referee the match isn't over yet and not to count to 3.
Obviously, I mean, it stands to reason. I mean, yeah, of course people's eyes are going to be open, so you don't have the ref's hand come down for an inverted 3. So I don't know if the signal is the eyes or what. But he's accurate. Yeah, I mean, I was glaring at the ref the whole time. The only time I wasn't was on a finishing move, like if I took the pedigree or if I took something, an RKO or something that I knew that was ending the match and I knew my night was over. Okay, then it can count to 100. For at that point, hell, I don't care.
Now here's how you can tell if a wrestler's gonna counter John Cena's attitude adjustment.
Going for attitude adjustment perhaps on John Morrison, and wow!
When Cena has his opponent on his shoulders, look at where the opponent's hands are. If the wrestler has a hand pressed on Cena's chest or around his neck, this means the opponent is going to do a flip and counter the move. Alternatively, if the wrestler's arms are dangling or loosely touching Cena, then the move is going to be performed successfully.
Attitude adjustment was something I never took. This makes sense. Some moves that we know we have to counter, yeah, you're just going to need your hands or your feet or whatever in different positions to make that counter. An example of a move that you would have to do differently if you were countering it was the Batista bomb. Normally when Dave would give me his finisher, once I got up to the top, my whole goal was just to get air, get elevation, make it look as big as possible, make the bump look devastating. But on the night that I actually defeated Drax, defeated the big guy, I let my momentum take me over once I got to the top and completed him up with the roll up. And again, countering the move, we're two guys working together as a unit, and you would never know anything was going to be different. But once I got up to the top, I just let my momentum take me over.
Triple H wanted the Shield to do their signature three-fist pose. The game repeatedly made a few subtle motions to tell Dean, Seth, and Roman to do it. Eventually, Roman Reigns caught on, and the Shield hit their iconic pose, but it was funny how many times Triple H had to move his arms before they finally got the message.
Hunter's always thinking ahead. Early in my career, when I was tagging with him against Undertaker and Kurt Angle, after I took Taker's last ride through the announce table, my night's over at this point. You know, I sufficient time to sell the big man's move, and I was actually exiting stage left up the ramp, and the ref stops me and tells me, stop. Hunter wants you to stop because he wants to be the one to come and get you and exit with you. Again, Hunter's just thinking ahead. Now, I'm not 100% sure what signal or how he had the ref stop me, but it's just another example of Hunter constantly and always thinking of just how to make the show this much better. And actually, I'm going to share with you a secret hand signal I used. Here it is. Do you know what that means? Huh? It means I'm hungry. But just like a good tag team partner, this video sponsor, HelloFresh, has my back. HelloFresh delivers nutritious and mouth-watering delicious meals directly to your door, making it easy and convenient for you and your family to live a healthy lifestyle. And the meals, well, they're foolproof. They come pre-portioned, and every one comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card. I mean, I couldn't even mess it up. And I have got a secret for you. HelloFresh is giving away free breakfast for life. And to get it, here's all you gotta do. Click the link in the description or use my code to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the United States. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. And by signing up for HelloFresh means that you're supporting us here at this channel. So a heartfelt and a hungry thank you from us.
But take a look at Orton's hands. When the Viper hits the power slam, he claps his hands, but when he isn't gonna hit the move, there's no clap.
You thought I did. Whoa! WWE World Heavyweight Champion went for the power.
The clap tells Orton's opponent to follow through and brace for the power slam.
I think Randy does the clap as more of a timing mechanism for him. When somebody's coming off and he knows he's going to hit the power slam, I think the clap helps him time up the move. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong. The fact that he knows when they hold on and he's not going to hit the move, there's just no need for the clap. I don't know if he's necessarily doing it 100% to tell the opponent. Could be. Or if he's just doing it as a timing mechanism for himself. But I'm not going to say Mr. Corner's wrong.
A similar method of communicating is used when wrestlers perform DDTs.
I actually have taken Randy's ring DDT when I'm on the outskirts and he's pulling me in. We would have a hand signal on that. He would get me in and I would be squirming, and when I was in a good position, meaning I was in a position to protect myself on the way down, I would pat him on the backside or pat him on the side, and the moment that he felt that hand clap his side, that's when he would go down. And again, something that people probably would never know to look at, and if they actually do see the clap, they're not going to think much of it because we're struggling for position anyway. But as a trained professional, Randy knows as he's doing the struggle, he knows he's waiting for that clap, and once he feels that, then he's going to go down and administer the DDT.
When a wrestler performs a DDT, their opponent needs to know if they'll take the move or counter it. Like the power slam, a slap in the back tells the wrestler to take the DDT. If there is no slap, then the opponent needs to counter.
We would call it the Iggy, and guys would simply say, I'll give you the, when I'm getting ready to go, I'll give you the Iggy. And all the Iggy meant was, I'm going to do something to alert you, something to let you know that we're going. It could be a slap, it could be a squeeze, it could be something rather than holding someone and being like, now, and then going. Look, now you're going use that. That's going to become part of your lexicon. You're going to start telling people, yeah, give me the Iggy.
Wrestlers will also use unique hand gestures to communicate specific actions. When Chris Jericho and Triple H were having a match, the game sneakily communicated he'd give Jericho the boot by tapping his quad as Y2J was running toward him.
That is 100% accurate. Yeah, and a lot of guys will do that. A lot of guys, if they're getting ready to give a boot or whatever, they'll hit it, they'll smack it, they'll do something. You know, I've known guys that were gonna, get ready to give you a right, so they maybe tap, hit their shoulder. That's just letting you know, hey, a right hand's coming. Again, just a way to alert somebody that something's coming without yelling, hey, I'm gonna throw a right hand at you.
On an episode of Raw in 2014, Dean Ambrose and John Cena were wrestling in the main event. Raw was about to go off the air, so Dean Ambrose made a signal to Cena to speed things up since they only had 6 minutes left.
If the ref comes over to us and tells us, hey, we got to speed this up, we're either going to commercial or in that case, we're going off air. They're not going to extend the time. They're just not. John Moxley, being the professional he is, if he gets the Iggy from the ref and says, hey, yo, you guys got to wrap this up in 1 minute, he knows how to speed it up. And him telling, Cena, yo, come on, we got to speed this up. Cena is going to know, and Cena's a professional enough also to know, okay, how do I get to where we need to be and shave off 30, 45, maybe even a minute of time to get there.
During the fight, the dead man grabbed Heyman by the throat. Punk then attacked Taker with a clothesline to break it up. Since Undertaker had his back turned and couldn't see CM Punk, Paul Heyman squeezed Taker's shoulder, so he knew to turn around and take the clothesline.
100% right. Again, the Iggy. I'm assuming this is how the conversation went. Paul, I'll grab you for the chokeslam deal. When I put your hand over, you give me the Iggy when to turn.
While that was a pretty subtle cue, Vince McMahon's was the complete opposite of that.
Vince was the most awkward human being ever when he moved.
Flair revealed he had become part owner of WWE and that he and Vince were business partners. McMahon famously started tugging at his right ear and was then beaten up by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So his cue for this one night was, when I pull my ear, that's the cue to hit the music. Since Vince thought that as soon as he touched his ear, the music would instantaneously hit, and it didn't, he began massaging and tugging, and he was milking that mother for all it was worth.
No one's going to think anything of Vince, tugging his ear. It could almost be mistaken as just a nervous tick. We all have them. We all have something. But obviously Vince had a different agenda. Vince's agenda was hit the music, and I never knew that. Makes sense, though. Makes perfect sense.
A more direct way wrestlers communicate is by simply talking to each other. The term is called calling a spot, and this is where a wrestler will secretly talk during a match to tell their opponent what to do next, or even to make sure they are okay.
We would get a lot of heat for calling spots, or even being audible if we weren't talking to the audience or talking smack or whatever. In fact, I got heat for, at the end of my matches, win or lose. In my training, I was taught that as the pin is going, you thank your opponent. And a way to thank your opponent can be just whether you're going over, getting the win, or doing the job, taking the loss. You thank them. Why are you thanking them? You're thanking them for putting food on your table. You're thanking them for entertaining the fans. You're thanking them for helping you tell a story. Now, I don't know if I maybe took it wrong, but I was audibly thanking people, win or lose. I would literally, thanks, brother. And it was loud enough to where people could hear it. And I got an ass chewing backstage, and people told me, hey, you can thank them, just give them the Iggy. When you're going up, squeeze a leg, squeeze an arm. That's a way of saying thank you. And still, to this day, if anything happens that I'm doing in the ring, it's less these days, obviously, but if I do anything with anybody in the ring, the moment that we're done, I'm thanking them, even in the ring.
This is also why some wrestlers have long hair, as it can cover their faces, so fans don't see the wrestler chatting with their enemy.
Calling spots be so much easier if you have hair. You flip it over, and then once your hair's down covering your face, you can talk, and as long as people can't hear you, it's gonna be harder for them to see your mouth moving. So I never had that Never had that luxury though.
Old school wrestlers would actually take this a step further and speak in a different language called Carney. It's similar to Pig Latin, and here's what it sounds like.
Double skiz, oop, sliz, and move on biz oath is elbows. Round around the kids honor.
People would talk Carney even when I was there. Devon, hell, still does it. Devon could probably quote Shakespeare in Carney if you let him. It was just a bygone, way of communicating that I don't think is used. It was being phased out even when I was there. But backstage, guys would do it, and especially if we were out in clubs and if girls were around, guys would use it like that. Carney can be traced back, almost 100 years at this point. In the early days of wrestling, that when these guys had to communicate, hell, a lot of these matches, there would be a heel, a bad guy dressing room, and a babyface, a good guy dressing room. And sometimes these guys would not see each other until they got out in the ring. Carney was just a way for them to be able to talk without the people surrounding the rings to understand what they were saying.
If the wrestler squeezes the referee's hand, that means the wrestler is okay. After getting the squeeze, the referee will raise a closed fist into the air. This tells the backstage personnel that everything is okay. If the wrestler doesn't squeeze the referee's hand, the ref will make an X sign with both of their arms. This lets the producers and doctors know that a wrestler is legitimately hurt.
We all knew backstage that you never wanted to see the X. You knew the X was just not good, and man, they don't use that X for nothing. They don't use the X for a boo-boo. Going back to a Batista bomb, after the 1, 2, 3, when the ref came over and knelt down on me, I mean, all of them would grab me and just, "You okay, brother?" And then, it's just a way of communicating. They want to make sure everyone is leaving that ring the same way they came in. So 100% right with that.
Since WWE camera operators have headsets and can communicate directly with WWE producers backstage, the cameramen will sometimes give instructions when something goes wrong.
I actually had a cameraman take me aside and take me all around the ring and show me the best way to get just get the best reaction and the best way to utilize them. And they would, exactly everything he said was accurate. The one thing they told me was, when you're selling, sell with your head up. Obviously, this is your money maker, but selling with your head up can make sure I am watching if they have a cue or if they have somewhere that they need me to look. If I'm selling towards a camera and they know, because they have they are hearing from the truck that they're getting ready to go to the hard cam, they might be pointing that hard cam area. And I know to take that cell and roll over to get to the best reaction for the camera that's going to be on me.
At WrestleMania 39, The Miz and Snoop Dogg were announcing the attendance when Shane McMahon came out and
God, I remember watching this live.
Seconds into it, though, Shane legitimately tear his quad. Shane unable to wrestle, a new plan had to be made on the fly. WWE producers had a cameraman communicate to Snoop Dogg that they wanted him to punch The Miz, which the rapper then did, saving the entire segment.
For wrestlers, it's all just learning the layout of your surroundings, learning how to utilize the people that are in the show. I know for me, I would get help from the refs, especially. Kyoto was huge on just helping me keep my timing and helping me be in the right place at the right time for certain things. There was several times he'd tell me, "May, be ready for this. I'll tell you when." And he might have an open palm. He might, just be, "When you see me open my palm, that's when you need to be ready." And using every aspect and everyone in the show is truly the best way to communicate effectively and discreetly. Now, these are the secrets in the ring, but what about backstage? To learn all about the unwritten rules and traditions of a WWE locker room, click the link on screen.